Hey everyone, it's Lauren. Welcome back. Today I am doing a little collection video on my primers as well as my base products, complexion products like skin tints, foundations, tinted moisturizers. You guys get the gist. But I'm just going to be going through talking about the products in the collection, letting you know if I plan on keeping them. There might be like a kind of tiny declutter in here, but I plan on keeping most of these products, but really just sharing my thoughts and opinions on each of them and letting you guys know what I think. So with that being said, let's get into it. So whenever I've done these videos in the past, because this is like an updated collection, I feel like in the past I've always started with primers. So I'm going to switch it up, do the base products first. First, I have the Tinted Hydrator from Wet n Wild. Here's what it looks like. I have mine in the shade Porcelain, and to be completely honest, I think the reason I don't use this product as often is because the shade match just is a little too pinky, a little too light for me. It just doesn't really, it kind of looks like I'm wearing like an oxidized base product whenever I even initially apply it. Like, it's not oxidizing, it just isn't the right shade for me. So I kind of want to try it out again in a different shade because I know a lot of people really enjoy this, and I do use it from time to time and like it, but I feel like the main reason that deters me is because I don't have the right shade. But overall, really like the formula. It hasn't irritated my skin in any regard, and because so many people who have similar preferences to me when it comes to base products and skin types, namely Jessica Braun, she loves this, so I think that I really should give it a go in a different shade. Also, I forgot to mention this, but for any of the products that are still available, like this one, I will have links in the description to them, but just know that any link that has a star beside of it is an affiliate link, and I have, details as to what an affiliate link is in the description, so you can read through that, but just wanted to note that at the start. So here's one that is pretty much on the quite opposite side as far as price goes, and even coverage, really. It's pretty different than that Wet n Wild one. This is the Luminous Silk Foundation from Giorgio Armani. This is one that I really do enjoy. I just feel like it gives a really decent amount of coverage. Like, it's definitely medium coverage. You can build it up a little bit. It's not going to be full-blown coverage, but I just find that it looks really nice. I have had this in my collection for quite a while, so in my next declutter, I could imagine decluttering it. I feel like it's still okay, but it's definitely on the older side in my collection, but nonetheless, enjoy it. So next, I have the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. This is one that I like okay, especially when it's on my actual face. Like, I feel like it looks really good, and I'm happy with the coverage that it gives and the way that this like specific shade in particular matches my complexion. Like, I feel like I get a really good look from it, but to be completely honest, I felt like it was kind of irritating my skin, which is weird because not that many L'Oreal complexion products do. There's one concealer from the same line that kind of irritates my skin if I wear the product over and over again, so I really haven't used this as often as I'd like to. I don't know. I feel like this is one I should probably declutter soon. So, I mean, if you have a similar skin type to me that's a little bit more dry and sensitive, you may just want to skip over this one. L'Oreal has a lot of other good complexion products, and because this one irritates my skin, although it looks good while I'm wearing it, it's just not my favorite because of the aftermath. Okay, this next one is from Neutrogena. It's the Healthy Skin Glow Sheers. This is like a tinted moisturizer, and it's supposed to be kind of illuminating. I do think it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's really nothing too like intense when it comes to like the shine that it gives or the radiance that it gives. This is definitely a light coverage base product. You're not going to be able to build it up too much, but it's good if you're just kind of wanting to get an overall kind of even out the complexion on your face. That's kind of how I use it, but I don't use it as often just because I don't know if it's the sunscreen in here or what, but I just don't feel like, I like the way that it feels on my skin as much as other ones, and I feel like possibly could be irritating my skin. I know I sound like every product's irritating my skin, but this one I feel like might have, and so I don't really use it too often, but whenever I do, I like the appearance of it on my skin. So this was a recommendation I got from Allie Glines, and I do enjoy it. It's just I don't think I'd repurchase it again. Now for one that I really do like and doesn't irritate my skin. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. This one is definitely medium coverage. I think you can build it up and get pretty full coverage. I like using it on occasions where, I mean, honestly, I'll use it every single day, but also like you can use it on occasions when you're wanting like full glam, full coverage, or pretty much full coverage, and I feel like I can get that. I feel like this is definitely one more suited towards people who do have a drier skin type. I've heard other people who have normal to oily skin not really loving it, but for me, this is like my second bottle of it. I'm almost done, and I really want to get another because it just does exactly it to do. It wears well throughout the day and isn't uncomfortable. Like, it is a comfortable formula in my opinion. So this is one that I feel like I'll have in my collection for a while, even though this particular bottle might need to, when it runs out, I'll just probably get another one. And I might in the shade 130 in, if you can see that, maybe. This is like the perfect shade match for me. So if you have a similar complexion, you may really enjoy that. Okay, so this one right here, I'm just going ahead and getting rid of. It's the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous foundation. I have mine in the shade 115 Buff Beige. This is one I really used to love back a while ago, but honestly, I never use it anymore, and I know there is no way that it is not expired, so we're just going to go ahead and set it aside to declutter. So this is a product that I got like when my store was doing some sort of like discounty type thing. It's the Lancome Renergy, I think that's how you say it, Lift Makeup Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 27 to be exact. And honestly, with this one right here, like you can see it's like they say it was a tester, but I don't think it was ever used. I think it was like intended for that, or at least that's the way they sold it to me. The shade match isn't perfect for me. I feel like it's probably expired because I did get it like right before I went back to school the last time I was home on break, and I didn't bring it with me. And to be honest, like I don't know. I never use it. I feel like if it's not expired, someone else could get better use out of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this one aside. Okay, this is definitely becoming more of a declutter. Just because I don't want to keep this product around either. It's the MAC Next to Nothing Face Color. This is one, you can even tell by like the separation that it is just no good anymore. Like there's no way. It's in the shade Light, and I can't even remember what I think about this product, so I'm not even going to go into it. I imagine it's kind of more of like an illuminating type product, but I never use it, and it does not look like it is still in good shape, so I'm going to declutter this as well. So moving on to another foundation, full coverage foundation favorite. It is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is one that I really want to get again because I'm almost out of it, and this is like my go-to full coverage when I want something that's going to be, you know, natural looking, but it's still going to cover everything I need to cover. This is what I go to. I'm in the shade Mont Blanc, and as soon as I use this up, I plan on getting another one because it is the best full coverage foundation in my opinion, especially for the dry skin gals out there. But similarly to this Anastasia one, I have heard people who have normal, mostly oily skin types not enjoying this, so just know that because it is a pretty penny, and if you do have a different skin type than I do, you may want to go with one of the other NARS formulas because I know they have a lot of them and that would work for a variety of skin types. Okay, so these next two, they're the same one but just in different shades, and I've gone through quite a few of these. It is my go-to foundation at the moment. I feel like for the price, I mean, it just can't get better than this. It rivals it really rivals the Anastasia Beverly Hills one that I love, but it's just so much more affordable, and so I find myself using it pretty much every day. Sometimes I'll mix it with the tinted moisturizer from Colourpop, but really it's using this shade right here, Fair 25W, and then this one I just keep to have a lighter shade to mix in if I need it. It's 20, Fair, no, not 20. Fair for Fair 5W, I don't really know. I can put the names of them on the screen here, but really like this one is like the perfect shade match for me. It has such a pretty finish that looks so natural and it feels so comfortable on the skin. The only qualm I have with these two is that the lids perpetually break. They're so hard to like keep intact, and especially because I bring them everywhere because they're so versatile. Like I can wear it more lightweight days, I can wear it for days where I want more full coverage. Like they're just so versatile, I bring them everywhere. So that's my only issue, but if that's it, I'm okay with it. So now for the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer from Colourpop. This is basically the same thing, but more of a lighter coverage. This is actually the one that I had first. I had it in a different shade. This one's not the perfect shade match for me. It's a little more tan for my complexion. It's light 6N, no, light 8N. I don't know why I can't read anything today. But with this tinted moisturizer, I typically just mix it with these because it's not the perfect shade match for me. But when I had it in the shade that was the right shade for me, I could use it just, you know, on its own all the time. I felt like it was the perfect go-to for light coverage, lightweight makeup days, and I still stand to that. I mean, any of these, whenever I finish them up, I'll definitely repurchase. Now for another lighter coverage product, this is the NYX Bare With Me Tinted Skin Veil. This is actually like a repurchased product of mine. I enjoy it. I honestly, now that I've tried out more tinted moisturizers and skin tints, I think it isn't necessarily my #1 favorite. Again, I think this shade is a little bit too pink for me, but there's no, like they don't have another one that would really match me better, and it's in the shade Pale Light. I feel like it is pretty similar to that one from Wet n Wild, to be honest, but it feels more comfortable. I don't feel like not more comfortable than the Wet n Wild one, but just it's a more comfortable product in general. I feel like it wears nicely throughout the day. I don't have to worry about it really, you know, touching it up, anything. It's just a good, easy go-to product that I can wear on minimal makeup days. Now, moving on to this Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. It has SPF 20 in it. Really, I mean, I think this is a good foundation. I feel like it's a pretty versatile one when it comes to the different types of like skin types that it works for. I don't really use it all the time just because there's other ones that I prefer more, but I think it's still a good one for me to have around in my collection. I just remember the coverage being so good on this, just the perfect kind of medium amount. You can shear it out a little to get more lightweight or lighter coverage. You can, you know, build it up a little bit to get a little bit more full coverage of a look. And it feels really good on the face, wears well throughout the day, and the finish on it is just the perfect natural finish. I know I've said that about a few now, but I feel like I really like the finish on this, and that's what makes it special. But the price is a little bit up there, and so it is not competitive for drugstore. So here's the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation for normal to oily skin. This one I really only keep around because I have a few friends that I feel like this is a really good like foundation for them who do have the normal oily, you know, skin type, but I'm probably gonna declutter it kind of soon because I know they just came out with a newer version of this, and honestly, I feel like I could probably find a better foundation formula for my friends with that skin type, but this is one I keep around really for that, and until I get another one to replace it, I'm just going to keep it. So now talking about two products from Bare Minerals, their Bare Skin line. I believe both of these are not available anymore. I know this one, the serum bronzer, which really I would just kind of like keep in here because it didn't really fit anywhere else, and I would occasionally use it mixing it with different complexion products to, you know, darken them up a little bit, or using them like right after the foundation step to kind of bronze up the face with the liquid. But this one right here, the serum foundation, I don't think it's available anymore. I've had it for a while. So really, I mean, I remember enjoying it, like it served its purpose in my collection, but I never use them anymore. So I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter both of these. Out of this little Lancome stick here, honestly, I have no idea. I feel like I've had this in my collection for quite some time. Yeah, no, that does not look good at all. This one is also going to be decluttered. Now moving on to the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. This is the one that has broad spectrum SPF 17. Not sure what it is with these like weird numbers, but I feel like this has oxidized a little bit based on the coloring. I know I've had it for a little bit of a while now, and I don't really use it. If it's not expired, then maybe I'll just pass it along to someone else, but something tells me it is, so this is another one I'm gonna declutter. Okay, here we have the Glossier Skin Tint. This one still has a little bit of product in it. I mean, this is my second or third of it. I feel like it's the perfect no makeup, like truly just does a good job at evening out the complexion, and that's about it. Doesn't provide much coverage whatsoever, but a lot of times that fits the bill for me. That's what I'm wanting a product to do. So I'm going to keep this around until I use it up and possibly purchase another, but I really want to try and find a product that like meets like what I like about this, but for a more affordable price. So stay tuned on that, but for now, we're going to keep it. So I think that about wraps it up for the complexion products. I have the ones that I'm decluttering on the top of my little like storage unit here, and I'll show those in a second, but let's go ahead and move on to the primers. So this is one I really keep around to do other people's makeup and for review purposes, because this it's the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love the way that it makes my makeup look. I just feel like there's something about kind of the more sticky base that makeup adheres really nicely to and wears well throughout the day. And just, I don't know, I like the finish that this gives my base products, but it really, I feel like definitely has caused a reaction in my skin. I imagine it's because of the denatured alcohol in here, which my skin absolutely hates. So this is one that I am going to keep around because I'll use it on other people who don't have the same sensitive skin and don't have those sensitivities as I do, and for review purposes, honestly, I feel like I constantly reference this product, but I'm not going to be using it. So now I have a primer from Maybelline. It's the Master Prime Hydrate and Smooth. This is one that, I have another one that's targeted more towards people who have like an oilier skin type or normal skin type. This one's definitely for the people who have drier skin. And to be honest, I do enjoy it. It's not my favorite primer in any stretch of the imagination, but it is definitely one that I feel like works pretty well. I'm almost done with it, but I am actually going to keep it around because I really want to do a Maybelline Best and Worst. I did one a while back, but I want to do an updated one because I have a lot of products from Maybelline to talk about. So I'm definitely going to keep this around until I do that video. This is one, I don't know what I'm going to do with it because there's a time and a place for it. It's the Ordinary High Adherence silicone primer. This one's super affordable. I like what it does, but it leaves my skin feeling so dry whenever I remove it. Like, there's something about just how the base of this product, the way that it like leaves my skin feeling is so uncomfortable. So I don't find myself wearing it often. And if I do, it is going to be a product that is concentrated in the areas where I want something to be super blurred. I'm not going to put it all over my face, not because I don't like the appearance of it, but because it leaves my face feeling so uncomfortable. So I might keep this around a little bit because I do like using it as kind of a spot primer, if you will, but I'm not ready to declutter it, but I could imagine it being decluttered soon. So here are 2 primers that I'm trying out from Wet n Wild for possibly a review video that I want to do on the brand. They're the water drop primers. There's another one I'm going to talk about in a second, but really I feel like the way that these look on the skin is pretty much the exact same. This one, because it does kind of have like a bluish green base to it, it kind of like has a little bit of a color correcting type feel to it, but I don't feel like it's really doing anything major. And then this one is just kind of like a pinkyish color, but it doesn't really leave any cast or anything on the skin. Neither of them do. I like the smell of this one a lot better. Typically, rose isn't my thing, but this one just kind of smells a little bit